Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Shruti Mishra and with me is Ritu Singh. These are the top headlines from the startup space. Sachin Bansal-led Navi Technologies gets SEBI nod for its initial public offer. As per Money Control, Navi Technologies had filed draft papers in March this year with SEBI to raise up to 3,350 crore rupees through a fresh issue of shares.
Mensa Brands acquires peanut butter maker MyFitness for an undisclosed sum to make inroads into the health food category. Through this partnership, the e-commerce roll-up unicorn will bolster the brand's footprint, launch new categories, scale D2C business, invest in brand building and expand into global markets.
Yulu raises $82 million in its Series B funding round led by Magna International. The mobility startup is forming a new entity, Yulu Energy, with Magna to create nationwide battery charging and swapping infrastructure to cater to the demand from Yulu and other EVs.
SEBI is taking a close look at how private equity houses and venture capital funds value the startups and unicorns they bankroll, as per a report. The capital market regulator had asked a large number of funds to disclose their valuation practices, any significant change in the valuation methodology in the past 3 years, qualification of the valuer, as per the report.
WazirX announces that the ED has unfrozen its bank accounts, allowing the platform to resume banking operations after almost a month. And I quote, due to the active cooperation extended by WazirX and active anti-money laundering checks that led to the blocking of suspicious accounts, ED has unfrozen the bank accounts of WazirX. WazirX is now in a position to continue its banking operations as usual, end of quote, it said in a blog post.
Twitter said payments made to a whistleblower did not breach any conditions of its $44 billion buyout by Elon Musk. In a letter to Twitter, lawyers said Musk said Twitter's failure to seek his consent before paying $7.75 million to whistleblower Peter Zatko and his lawyers violated the merger agreement, which restricted when Twitter could make such payments.
Ubisoft, France's biggest video games maker, is still open to other partners after a deal in which China's Tencent will raise its stake in the company. Its co-founder and CEO Yves Guillemot told Reuters. The deal values the Assassin's Creed maker at about $10 billion, and Tencent would become its single biggest shareholder with an overall stake of 11%.
Well, those are the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Mobility platform Yulu, that has raised about $82 million or 653 crores in Series B funding, which is led by a Canada-based mobility technology company called Magna International. Now, with this, Yulu hopes to expand its electric vehicle fleet to over 1 lakh two-wheelers and install more than 500 battery charging and swapping stations. Magna will also partner with Yulu to establish a new company which is called Yulu Energy, which will build a nationwide infrastructure for battery swapping and charging to meet both its own as well as other manufacturers' demand. And just last week, on Friday, in fact, we caught up with Yulu's co-founder and chief technology officer, Naveen Dachuri, to talk to him about the company's growth plans. Hear out what he had to say.
We have close to 10,000 vehicles. 70% of our fleet, we are using it for the last mile delivery. We are unit economics positive, and the growth wise, our plan is in next 1 year, we want to grow 10x. We have all the things lined up. Our biggest dependency now, or I would say the bottleneck now, is on the supply chain, where the whole OEM world is seeing already the supply chain constraints when it comes to especially the e-bomb components or the electrical components. But that is our plan. And with that plan of 10x, we are expecting that we will be doing close to, again, 300 million, close to 300 million battery swaps. And for that, we will be setting up close to 500 charging stations pan-India. Expansion-wise, our plan is to go to eight cities.
Well, that was the founder on Yulu's EV play. And to talk about Magna's plans on foraying into the micro-mobility market by investing $77 million in electrified shared mobility provider Yulu and the new battery swapping entity, joining us now is Magna International's Executive Vice President and Global Lead for Magna New Mobility, Matteo del Sorbo. Matteo, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street. First up, tell me what made you bet big on Yulu? What synergies did you see? And how big is the India market for you?
Well, thank you very much for having me this evening, and welcome to everybody. It's been an incredible last 12 hours with our announcement. Magna is a technology mobility company and the world's 4th largest automotive supplier. Yulu is India's largest electrified mobility platform for two-wheelers. The combination to offer sustainable, affordable mobility to millions of people in India was unmatched, and it provided a great opportunity for us to support India's government's vision for clean mobility.
So what exactly, Matteo, is the plan or the arrangement that you have with Yulu? We understand you're going to be the exclusive battery swapping partner for them?
Yes, we will for Yulu Mobility, but we also will have other customers as we try to deploy a interoperable battery for other customers. Personal users with subscription models will be our goal in the short term as we ramp up production here in the fourth quarter of this year.
Okay, all right. Matteo, you know, Magna is one of the largest automobile parts manufacturer in the world. In fact, in 2021, you forecast a $4 billion EV-related product and component sales by 2025. Tell me what makes you bullish, and how soon do you see governments mandating a complete shift to EVs across the world?
It's a very good question. I wish I had the answer for what the governments are thinking. Of course, we want to be at the forefront of technology. Magna has been for 65 years following the mega trends, and we feel that electrification around the world will continue. And with our product offering, we plan to be a major force in this area.
You know, Matteo, when we talk about the EV market in India, it's very much focused on the two-wheeler space. Of course, now we have you also investing into Yulu. Tell us about your plans on that front for the India market. Do you think you'll also look at the four-wheeler space at some point of time?
I think we'll leave all our options open. Of course, India is an important market for Magna. We have 12 manufacturing facilities and 3 engineering centers. We employ over 5,000 people. We're starting with the two-wheeler, but of course, this technology can be transported into three-wheelers as well as four-wheelers. And our competence and building blocks and technologies in the four-wheel market globally should put us in a very good position as well for this in India.
All right, all right. So the option is open for three-wheelers and four-wheelers as well. Matteo, there have been persistent rumors regarding Magna as a likely candidate to build a long-lasting Apple car. The projected EV has been in the works since the launch of its Project Titan in 2015. Is Magna the leading contender to build the Apple car?
Well, you knew the answer to that question before you asked it. We don't speculate on future customers and contracts. Of course, we are a perfect partner for all new entrants and companies coming to market with a new platform. We've done that very successfully for over 65 years now.
Well, you may not tell us about Apple, but you surely can tell us about Fisker, the Ocean SUV. That's been much of the talk of the town. And you're expected to begin production for the SUV later this year at your Austria plant, we understand. What are the reservation figures like already? Because you've announced plans to ramp up production to about 150,000 vehicles by 2024. Will you be able to meet demand with that? Do you think you'll have to scale further? Where is this demand coming from?
So Fisker's outlook, obviously, they'll have to respond to. We've put capacity in place for 50,000 units a year in Graz, Austria, with the opportunity to scale up to even a higher number. Fisker is a very important customer for us. As you know, this is launching later on this year and will demonstrate a lot of Magna's capabilities and technologies across the entire vehicle, with many of the components being manufactured, designed by Magna International around the world.
Okay. All right, Matteo, we've completely run out of time, but many thanks for joining us on Startup Street, and wish you the very best with all your future plans.
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening to you.
All right, moving on, also on what's brewing. D2C technology-led House of Brands, Mensa Brands, has entered the health